Hi, welcome to this how-to video on the save, share and embed functionality for Visible Geology. As you can see, we've got a couple of tweaks to the homepage. We now have the three main applications in the front and center of the homepage. And up in the top right-hand corner, we have the login and create Seequent ID buttons. In order to save, share, embed and use the group and assignment functionality, we need to be logged in. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. So now that I'm logged in, I have some new options down at the bottom of the homepage. I've got an option to go directly into my projects manager, into my topographies manager, into my groups, and I have this option that is called import via code, and I'll go into this in a little bit later on. First, let's look at how we save a model. So to do that, I'm going to build a model from scratch very quickly. So I'm going to go into Geology Explorer. And I'm just going to make some simple stratigraphy. And I'm going to apply a fold. Going to make it slightly more pronounced and put the antiform in the center of the model. Happy enough with that. I'm actually just going to choose one of these predefined topographies and turn it into a little bit of a mountain shape. So I'm pretty happy with this model. Let's go ahead and save it. So I click the menu button and we see a number of options available to us. We can see that the model has been given a default name. However, we can rename this whatever we like. Then you simply click Save. So now that my model is saved, I have a couple of options. I can go into my project manager using the open button and check it out now that it is saved. Or I can go ahead and publish it to get it ready for sharing. When I publish a model or a StereoNet, it creates a read-only version of it, meaning that it can no longer be editable. However, if you do want to go back in and edit it, you can simply create a copy of it yourself in your own profile. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what the publish workflow looks like. I simply click publish. I get an option to give the model a name and a description. Happy enough with what's there, so I go ahead and click publish. Once it's published, you get three options to share it. We have a code, a link, and an option called embed. I'm just going to try and briefly describe what these three options are and when and why you would use the different options. The first option of code will generate an alphanumeric unique code for this piece of work. You can share that code with another Visible Geology user and they will be able to input that code in order to generate a copy of the model that you've built. This copy will allow them to do further edits to the model and to interrogate it with cross-sections and core samples and essentially have the model as if they built it themselves. The link option is essentially a URL link that you can share with someone. When they receive it, they can click on it, open a browser and view the read-only version of the model that you've generated. So that version of the model cannot be edited. It will only show whatever you have created. So if you haven't created cross-sections or core samples through your model, those will not be able to be generated by the recipient of that link. The embed option generates a snippet of code that can be used in an iframe. So this is where we can actually put the three-dimensional model in the read-only view into a frame that can be hosted in a web page or something like that. So those are the three options. Let's have a look at these in practice. Okay, so I've jumped into the projects manager to give you guys a look at what my profile looks like now. So I have this new model that I have just created and saved and published. So it's a read-only version and I can tell that by this little label here. So what I'm going to do is show you how to input via code. Now I'm going to use the code of the model that I just generated. So this will actually create a second version of this project in my profile here. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So I paste the project code that I generated earlier, and I click import. And I see a little preview of the model, and it's the exact model that we've just built. So I hit import, I'm happy with that. And so now what we see is that we have two versions of this model. One is a read-only version, and one is the version that I just added to my profile using the share code. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how the link is used. So to do this, I'm actually going to go ahead and log out without saving. So I'm logged out and I'm going to open a new browser. I'm going to clear that browser entirely. And I'm going to copy paste the link that we generated earlier. And once the project finishes loading, we will see the read-only view of the model. And here we go. Here's the read-only view. So again, the label is down here and a subset of functionality available to us. So I'm just going to quickly show the embed iframe feature. And to do that, I'm just going to quit out of Visible Geology entirely and jump over to this iframe editor, just a generic one that I found online. So I'm going to paste the embed snippet that was generated in Visible Geology earlier and hit run. And as you can see, it's very similar to the link in that it just takes a moment to load the model. And once it's loaded, it shows the read-only version of the model. So essentially, it's just embedding the 3D model in another HTML web page.